Hey everyone, it's Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys an old school album review. And I didn't even know this album had an anniversary, and I'd forgotten about it until I saw it this morning. And as you can see by the title today, we're going to be looking into one of my favorite, if not my favorite, power metal band of all time. As you can see by the title today, we're going to be looking into Tales from the Twilight World by Blind Guardian, the band's third album released on October 3rd, 1990. Now, this album is a little bit different compared to their first two albums. Between Battalions of Fear, their debut album, which came out in 1988, was essentially a speed metal album. And then their second album, Follow the Blind, has a little bit of like a thrash metal influence as well, having that. But I feel like this album, their third album, has more of a melodic and epic feel to it. With sort of like, I feel like this is pretty much where Blind Guardian solidified their sound. While musically they have a little bit of like thrashy stuff in the department, they definitely have a lot more melody compared to like the Battalions of Fear or Follow the Blind. Just vocally, I feel like Hansi Kirch, in my opinion, I feel like every album, since Battalions of Fear, I feel like Hansi has gotten better in his vocals. Um, I just think I'm sorry, I can't even speak today. His vocals is just really great. Guitar work on this album is tight. Andre Olbrich and Marcus Siepin's guitar playing is tight. Just the riffs they come up with is great, and just the soloing is amazing. The bass on this album is pretty audible. Well, Hansi's bass, because he actually did play bass for the first few albums, but then he stopped playing it after like '96. And drumming wise, Thomas Stauch, I can never say his last name. His drumming is pretty superb. So without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is Traveler in Time, which is a ripping opener. I certainly love, like I mentioned before, it has a little bit of a thrash influence, and it features one of the best, strongest like hooks in here. Like, that's the one thing I love about Blind Guardian. They have really great hooky songs. And then we move on to Welcome to Ding. And I feel like this is pretty much where it picks up really great, and it's an even better song. And the vocals in here are some of the best I've heard, and very melodic as well. And then we go into Weird Dreams. Now, this is kind of like a little bit of an interlude, and it's a little bit of a throwaway track, which has a display of like instrumentally, and it's sort of like demonstrating some really good like guitar lines, especially it almost sounds vocally. It's over before it's really gone anywhere, but yeah, I just think it's just there. But then we get into Lord of the Rings, which I think is a well written ballad with here. It's a great vocal performance, and it has a very enchanting like atmosphere, hence like the title Lord of the Rings. And especially I feel like this could be played in like a movie in the movie series, I should say. And I feel like this is like the first ballad that we hear from Blind Guardian, which would later become on later albums like Nightfall and Middle Earth, for even Night in the Opera. And this is a pretty damn good song for even like for their first ballad. Next song on the album is called Goodbye, My Friend. Now, this song is a lot more darker in here, and it has a pretty weird riff that leads into like a pretty okay verse, but the chorus here is pretty solid, and there is some good soloing, but overall I feel like the song is okay. Lost in the Twilight Hall. I think it's a pretty strong song, and it has some really great riffing and some guest vocals from Kai Hansen from Halloween. And the guitar harmonies are really great, and it's just almost, I don't know, it's a really great song. It even has a great atmosphere at times, and it's something we would hear on like later albums. Then we move on to the next song here, which is called Tommy Knockers, which is a very fun, catchy song. Altar 4. I feel like it's a very ambitious song. Um, I feel like it a little bit falls flat on its face. It feels like several throws out several ideas that kind of like spawn like the 2.5 minutes, but it does very little. Then we move on to the last song on here, which is called The Last Candle, which starts off with sort of like a gang chant, which like explodes into a great riff and some guitar harmonizing, which in the verses, and it's a very strong song. And I love the contrast between the first half of the verses and the savage, and like the second half works well, and the chorus is really great. And in my opinion, the best part of the song is right near the end, where the two groups of like background singers kind of like go off with each other with like somebody's out there and I know there is somebody, is a great way to end this good album. Now, overall, Tales from the Twilight World by Blind Guardian is, I feel like, a pretty good way to step up their sound and pretty much solidify what they are after their first two albums. But I feel like but I just think after this they would just get even better. I mean, they've always have great albums, but this I feel like they pretty much are. I feel like they've honed it. I can't even speak today, I'm sorry. So anyway, if I were to give this on the score, I'm going to give Tales from the Twilight World by Blind Guardian a solid 9 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review of the album, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the album, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.